Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning Survivor. This is your host, Keisha Lovely Stewart Kennard. So I haven't talked to you guys in a minute, so I just want to kind of welcome you back. I think the last time I chatted with you all was our commentary in 23. So Happy New Year. I want to welcome you to the channel where we give survivors a voice and a platform. So I want to encourage you all to subscribe. We definitely want you to subscribe. We're definitely interested in bringing topics that interest you. If you want to be our next interviewee, if you've survived something or anything, definitely call the number. It is 210-570-7743. If you feel like that you've survived something that you want to talk about, this is your platform. This is an opportunity to give you a voice. And so, like I said, I'm your hostess, Keisha Lovely Stewart Kennard, K Lovely. I am a author of my first published book, The Morning After, a survivor of a spiritual and sexual abuse myself. And I'm going to move in. I try to zoom in with my QR codes. Don't judge me, everybody. I can't figure it out yet how to do the QR codes, but the QR codes take you immediately to the YouTube channel where this is going to be uploaded, and it takes you immediately to my book, which is now on Amazon and Kindle. So all that being said, I have a treat for you guys. Her name is Castanita Fitzpatrick. I have gotten to know her over a few months, I guess I can say. Beautiful person. I love her spirit. She kind of, the way her personality is, she's outgoing. She's fun. She's a leader, and she's also another survivor. And so I think the way we kind of met each other, I have to say it was God. So I believe in God. And so, I have to just, attribute it to that. He brought us together. She is an author as well. Her book is 31 Years in the Desert. Yes. So she's going to tell you a little bit more about that. I have some questions for her concerning it. Where you can find her is getherwingsback.org. I'm sorry. Getherwingsback.org. It's all one word. It's right there. So if you're trying to reach out to her, want to talk to her, she's open for speaking engagements. The lady has a story. She's got a story. So I don't want to spend taking up all the time talking to you about it. We're going to let her tell you about it. So how are you, Castanita?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Key, for having me. And yet, like I told you, you're stuck with me. Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind it. I do thank God for our coming together.
Yes, I do too. And my book is available on Amazon as well. They can find it on Amazon. So, yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and push forward. Like I said, I had an opportunity to read your book, The 31 Years in the Desert. And I guess kind of tell us, what do you want us to know about what you've overcome?
Well, one thing is, as you read in my book, when my mother let go of me, that's when the streets grabbed a hold of me. I'm a survivor of human trafficking, sexual exploitation, homelessness, and drug addiction. I was molested at the age of 5, started using drugs and alcohol at the age of 10. My mother had her own addictions, and I'm an open book to that because it took me years to learn how to forgive her and meet my mother where she is at once we got reconnected. My journey, it's been a hard one because coming out of sexual exploitation, you get judged by society, and you have to learn how to live life on life's terms. You have to learn how to live in an environment that you have no clue about, and so it's taken me years. My date of grace is August 6, 2010. That's when I got rescued. It's been a 13-year journey. I haven't arrived because I do still battle with some things. And that's going to be an ongoing process for me. But today I don't look at where I've been as a hindrance. I look at it as an opportunity for me to become a better version of myself daily. you know. And one of the things that you was talking about is from a survivor, a victim mindset to a survivor's mindset. It's taken me years to get out of that victim stance that everybody is out to get me. I could never achieve anything, but I have achieved so much, you know. After dropping out of school in the 6th grade, one thing that was taken away from me was my childhood. You know, my childhood was taken away. I would never walk across that stage and get my high school diploma. I achieved that in 2019. And yes, I did a speaking engagement for some teachers who actually found the school to in-home school me. Because they said, Castanita, what is it that one thing you're missing out of your life? You know, is being a child, you know, and that's something that resonates with me because I swing on swings, I watch goofy movies. I have to nurture the inner child in me because she needs that as well, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's and I
yeah,
think that's what happens as survivors. I know me being a victim going to a survivor mentality as well, I felt because I was a victim at the time, I could mistreat everybody.
right.
I thought, I walked into relationships and like, I'm going to mistreat you because I was mistreated, so
Right.
I felt my me being victimized or a crime being committed against me gave me permission to mistreat everybody.
Yeah,
And
and that's
so,
probably why I'm not in a relationship even now today, because I still have that fear, you
okay.
know, that you're going to do something to me. So I have to put up that persona, or I have to put up that survivor mode. Like, I'm not gonna let you get close to me, you
Okay.
know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
are you in any therapy? Are you in counseling? Have you been in any counseling? Where are you with that mental health aspect?
my mental health, I had a hiccup in the road, where I lost a lot of things, and I didn't even know or understand why I was going through what I was going through. So I went through a program who led me to a counselor, a therapist,
Okay.
and I found out that I had DID, which is dissociation disorder. So there was a 11-year-old me, there's a 13-year-old me who's the fight or flight in me, because that's when all the trauma really happened, was when I was 12, 13 years old, when
Mm-hmm.
all the abuse and things started happening. And so she would resonate. She would come up in that fight or flight mode a lot. So I had to learn how to keep her at bay, and she was not having it. So I had to go through therapy. And
Okay.
going through therapy, I was able to identify my many parts. And when they all united into one person, which is myself now, I'm able to recognize when she doesn't show up as much, because I'm healing from her and learning how to not get in those situations where she will resonate. So therapy, I say to anyone that's went through some trauma or any type of abuse or sexual abuse, no matter what kind of abuse it is, get some therapy and get some counseling,
Yeah.
because you have to have a balance and become healthy mentally to
Yeah.
deal with certain things that comes up.
Yeah. I think that any trauma that a person goes through, I mean, it's an offset. It kind of, it's against what, your normal nervous system is used to. So I believe that, everybody should definitely get into some type of therapy. It is easier said than done, because right now trying to find a therapist that fits for you, I always encourage an individual, if that first fit is not the best fit, keep going.
Mhm.
Like myself, I have been in therapy for a minute. I have come from Ohio, moved to Georgia, stayed there for 3 years. Now I'm in Dallas, Texas. I love Dallas, Texas. So me doing all that moving, I have not been able to keep the therapists that I kept. So it's not about this. We're not talking about me. I don't want to get off on me. I want to use this time about you, but I definitely want to hit on trauma. When you're finding that therapist, stay encouraged. If you got to take a break, but get into it so that your mental health is important now. And I think we're in a phase in life where back in the day, therapy there was a stigma on it,
Yeah.
where you were deemed crazy, especially in the Black African American culture. My mom, I think she may be open to it, but I think her age and over and further back, no, they're not. It's like you have Jesus and you got the songs that you sing to bring you out, so, but you can have Jesus and
Yes.
therapy. You can have
Yes,
them
you
both.
can.
You don't got to choose. So anyway, like I said, I had an opportunity to read the book, and I
Yes.
had a couple of comments before we go into the questions. I got a couple of comments about the book. I wrote that it is an easy read. It reads like a short film. It reads like when you get in, you take us from what happened, how it happened, and then you just take us on the journey of your ups and your downs.
Yes.
And then you take us through your life struggle, your trials, your triumphs. And then I wrote, you had the love from your grandmother, which was there. You had the love from your grandmother. Was there any lack or abuse while living with your grandmother? That was one question I wanted to ask. Well, because I know your mom, and I don't want to give the book away, but from the first page, it jilts you. You like a 5-year-old, my God. And so from saying what you said to just phew, it's just like, and then it slips to another scene. You're with grandma. And then for your mom to say, take your child. So being with grandma, I know sometimes as grandparents, we're really not prepared to take on, start all over. How was it living with grandma? Was there any abuse there? Was she ideal?
My living with my grandmother, I can remember she actually gave me or tried to give me a life, but I wanted my mom. I wanted her to love me. So do I regret the way I did my grandmother? Yes. I wasn't ideal. I wasn't the ideal child because I was chasing after my mother so much,
Okay.
So, but my grandmother get up. I can remember when she moved. I can Google now where she used to live in Chicago right now because I'm originally from Chicago. She tried to give me the best life a little girl could have. She gave me my first breast bed. She made sure I had the best clothes. And she gave me that love that I wasn't really acceptable to because I wanted love from my mom. I used to go outside and play. And I used to see my friends I played with have this one lady that used to come and get them and bring them inside. And I wanted one of those, and that was a mom, So I don't regret my grandmother. Like I said, I love my Nana to death. I love her to death. And so I remember talking with my aunt after reconnecting with my family. I had an aunt, she's passed on now, but she used to tell me that my grandmother was the one. Let me back up. My mom, she was the type of person that will push people away from me because they didn't want her. So she was very yes. And so, but my grandmother, she tried everything she could. She called for me on her dying bed. My aunt came in a house that I was locked in for weeks in a basement. How she found these people, I don't know, but I was being exploited and doing drugs at the time. And my aunt came down there and rescued me. I think I was like 13, 14 or something, maybe a little bit older. I can't remember. But my grandmother, one thing she said before she passed away, she died in my arms. And she said, I want you and your mom to love each other, And that's something that never did happen. So living with my grandmother was an awesome, as a child. Even with my dad, she got me ready in pigtails at 5 years old. I remember sitting on the couch waiting for him to come. He never did show up. Come to find out, my mom put out a order of protection for him not to even come and get me or be around me. And my dad actually lived 30 minutes away from my grandmother. Yeah.
So you could have been, had that not happened, had the order of protection not happened, you probably went a different path. You think? Do you think that would have?
I think so, because my dad, when I reconnected with my father, I have I'm building a relationship with him. He's in Las Vegas. But when he heard my story, when he read my book, it really just did something to him. Because he said, if I would have came and got you, I would have came and got you, and I would have made sure this didn't happen to you. So I don't know what my life would have been like if I would have been with my dad, but he him and my mom had their own things going on. You know, he wasn't the
Yeah.
ideal father with her, you know, husband with her. I come to find out I have papers now that she filed with abuse orders on him and
Okay.
all kinds of stuff. So
Okay.
yeah. So I think I don't know where my life would be, but I don't regret the life that was chosen for me or the path I went down, because now I'm an advocate for other women, young women. I speak everywhere, you know, because my story can impact not just children, but adults,
Yeah.
women with kids.
Yeah.
And so, because every piece of my story, because I started so young,
Yeah.
can really touch lives. And that's what I really want to do, is speak globally someday and just let people hear, you know, from one point to the next, and just to encourage them. I am what your child can become if you are not careful with what you do, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's ironic that you say you wouldn't change anything, because me being a survivor as well of sexual and spiritual abuse, at 8 years old, I was molested
Right.
by a couple family members. Then from 8 to 12. And then from there, I'm 27 and I am sexually assaulted by the bishop who was my spiritual father. So now looking at my life, and forgiveness has occurred. Forgiveness for me is a daily walk. So, you know, I struggle sometimes with forgiveness. You know, my mom and my parents, I always say, God, when God has a plan for you, he'll use anybody to get you here. And I'm not
Yes.
saying that my mother was a bad person or my dad was a bad person. They were just two chosen individuals to bring me here. And so I guess I want to, you know, I won't change either. I don't think I would change anything about my life either, as bad as it was. I have been
Yes.
homeless. I have had, I mean, just, you got evictions, I got you. You got affairs, I got you. You got abuse, I got you. You got, I just the life, how I've been and where I've been. And I have so many stories. Tried to commit suicide 3 physical times. I'm still here. The way I was born, I was born early, then I had a blood disease. It was just so, I wouldn't change any of that either. I wouldn't change any of that either. And so listening to you say that, with all of the individuals, that being said, where are you with forgiveness? Where are you with forgiving those that have contributed to what you've had to struggle through?
It took me some time first to forgive my mom, because I realized early, well, when I was going back and forth to treatment, I realized that my mom became an addiction to me. One of the
Ooh,
judges,
okay.
yeah, she became addiction to me, because wanting and needing her, wanting to have that love and that connection with my mom, like other moms. I mean, I could never call her or, tell her anything. Not only have we been separated for 31 years, but I never will have that mom that most little girls have today, you
Yeah.
know? So when I finally, I'm trying not to cry right now, but when I finally went to treatment, one of my counselors told me, Castanita, are you left-handed or are you right-handed? Because when you're dealing with substance abuse disorders, you have to write a letter of a goodbye letter to your drug of choice, right? But my counselor did something different. I told her I was right-handed. She said, Castanita, I want you to write a letter to your mom using your left hand, because the little girl inside of you never had a voice, right? So when I did that, that little girl inside of me really told my mother off, and she said some choice words. I don't curse today, but
I'm
she said some
sure.
choice words. But that started the forgiveness process of my mom,
Okay.
right? And also, to piggyback into that, I learned how to forgive all the men that raped me, that harmed me, that sold me, that did all this horrific things to me. I learned because they were sick people, but this took years for me to even get to that point. I mean, I think I was at least about 3 years sober or 3 years out of the life before that forgiveness really sunk in.
Okay.
So it didn't just happen, okay, I forgive you.
Yeah.
I had to seriously heal
Yeah.
within the forgiveness that I was having,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
when I reconnected with my mom, me and her had mommy and me time, you know, and I seriously told my mom, and I was okay. I was really okay, whether she accepted me or not. I really was,
Okay.
you know, but I finally found her through my mentor, did a search for her, and she came to Dallas. And I met her for the first time after being separated for 31 years. But I was able to seriously tell my mom with all sincerity, and that's all I ever wanted. And I prayed about. I want to tell my mom I love her and I forgive her before she left this earth. You know, I was able to do that. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I know you didn't know how to love me, but I forgive you, you know? And if there's anything I've ever done to you, I want you to forgive me too.
Yeah, yeah.
And he
Wow.
like, yeah, yeah. And so when my mom had a lot of hurt and resentments and bitterness within her from the things that happened to her. And she carried it on to me. But when she came here in 2017, it was her birthday, right? And I had to learn over the 4 years that I knew my mom, I had to learn to meet her where she was, leave her where she's at, because I could never have her the way the little girl needed her,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But she stood in my living room, Key. She actually stood there in my living room for the first time in my life. She told me she loved me and she was proud of me. And that next month, this was in October, November 12th, 2018, she passed away. You know, and so when my mom died, it was the most horrible thing. I mean, my life was just blown away because I'm the only child,
Uh-huh.
you know. I had to literally go go down, go to Chicago and shut down her existence within a matter of 2, 3 days because I had to have surgery, you know? And so hold on, Key, somebody's knocking at my door, but
Tell them go away, go away.
it's my best
So
friend.
what I want you to do though, I want you to continue that story. I want to do a part 2 because I feel like it's a lot more that the viewers need to hear. So we'll take a break and then we'll
Okay.
come back in just a second. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.